I wanted to tell you my Thanksgiving story that I've just most recently experienced. Started off with our church that I go to, Eastminster Presbyterian Church here in Wichita, has a tradition that every year we give Thanksgiving boxes really full of food, a turkey, mashed potatoes, things like that. And so we identify people either through local police, community officers, or schools, or various social agencies of families that need a Thanksgiving box. So this year I wanted to do that. I had been a couple years since I last did that, but I really wanted to participate this year. A lot of it ties back to uncommon giving. That's what we're all about. We're all about generosity, as you know. And it's a Saturday morning that we did the delivery. Friday night, I'm sound asleep in the middle of the night. I wake up and first I just have this feeling come over me that, these people need more than just food, and maybe a little financial gift to them would be of great value, an unexpected gift that they'd have. And it reminded me a lot of a story that our CEO and founder, Ron Baldwin of Uncommon Giving, tells about doing pretty much the same type of thing at a Christmas party. And so I was laying there thinking, and I said, okay, Lord, how much money do I give? Well, $20 is what came to mind. And that, but I also wanted the people to tell me what they might use that $20 for, very specifically. So I pick up the box. I've been given some instructions to where the family lives. There were 3 families, and I'm now ready to drive out to see them and deliver the boxes. And I called them up and I said, this is who I am. You're expecting me, is that correct? Yes. And I said, okay, I'm on my way there, but I have 2 questions I want you to think about very specifically, and we'll talk about it when I get there to deliver the box to you. First question was, how can I pray for you? What type of specific need might you have? And then we pray. And then second of all, I wanted to hear from them. And the second question dealt with, what would you do if you had $20 bill right now? How would you use that? So here we go. I arrive at the first house and knock on the door, and yep, I found the right house. It's a different area than I'm used to being in Wichita. Nothing against that, but it's just an area that needs the food and the love. So I knock on the door, I'm in the right place, and I say, here's your food. Let's talk about what specific prayer you might have. And the family member tells me that. And then in particular, the first case, there's a young boy that comes out, probably 10 years old, something like that. And I said, now tell me about what would y'all do with that $20 bill if you had one? And the mom makes a comment about that she would take the $20 and use it to buy a video that the family could come together as a whole family and watch the video and have a wonderful family experience doing that. So I reached in my back pocket and I pulled out of my back pocket a $20 bill and handed it to the young man, and he just was overjoyed. Just to see his face light up was just so fun and so value to me. That's what giving's about. So I'm searching around trying to find this address of this second house, and sure enough, well, I finally found it. Driving around, get there, kind of a pretty tough, really tough area, and so I grab the box, walk up to the door. She's already opened it, and so I stop right at the door sill there and put the box down, and I happen to notice that she's in the living room there, and she's kind of leaning over this couch looking at me. And I see a couple little small kids there. I mean, pretty young, 4 years, 2 years, something like that. And as we go through, hey, tell me about the prayer that I had requested, that question. And she says, just for the health for her little kids. And while I noticed this and we're talking, she makes some comment about not being able to walk. So I said, would you like me to put this box in your kitchen? And she says, oh, that would be so helpful. So as I'm picking that up, I also notice over in the corner of the living room a wheelchair. This lady literally just crawl off the couch and sit down and literally kind of scoot her way. Her legs, she could not use her legs. And so I walk in, put the box down in her kitchen, and turn around and say, okay, let's talk about that prayer. What's your prayer? And she tells me about that. And then I progress into my next question of the $20. What would you do with the $20? And this is where it started to blow me away about what Thanksgiving about. It makes me emotional right now because she says, well, I'd go find some homeless guy that needs it. And I'm thinking, holy cow, you have 2 little kids here. You can't walk, and you're going to give this money away. And it just struck my heart, and again, my kind of emotion took over, and I said, thank you very much, and walked out and went to the third place. And pretty much, again, the same thing. I arrived there. A man comes walking to the car, but there was a young man with a young boy, probably maybe 10, again, something like that. Reminded me a lot of my youth. He kind of had a burr haircut. It was all cut down real low, and good-looking little kid. And talked to the father, and we talk about what's prayer, and he turns and looks to the little boy, and he says, well, we've been talking about that. And I thought, that's exactly what I wanted to happen. They could have some family interaction about prayer. And he says, well, they'd had this accident, and they wanted to pray for the person that was involved in this accident that was really the cause. And I thought, boy, that is as Christian as it can be. So we finished that, we prayed for that, and we again raised the $20 question. Tell me about what would you use the $20? And the father again says, well, we've been talking about that, and we both turn and look to the son, and he says, well, I'd give it to somebody that's just really in need. Well, again, I thought, that is the spirit of Thanksgiving. That's the spirit of Christmas. That's the spirit of Christianity. And so I reached in my back pocket, pulled out that $20 bill, gave it to him, and he just was overjoyed. And I thought, this is so cool. I went back to the car and left the area, and I'm driving home, and I'm reflecting on what I had experienced on that Saturday morning, and it just was so heartwarming that here's 3 families, 2 of which would not keep the money. They'd immediately give it away, and the third family then would take that money and use it, as I said, for a family night, a family event that brought the family closer together. So it just was so heartwarming, and those are the type of things that we've experienced kind of all the time as we've done these Thanksgiving boxes. But that was my Thanksgiving story.